Welcome to another exciting episode of Extreme Metal Television. I'm your host, Simon. In this episode, we have two great interviews with Striker and Massacre. We also have another edition of our Wicked Words segment. But first, the underground spotlight falls on Viathyn.
First up, guys, tell us about the new record.
Shit, man, I don't know. There's a lot to say. That's a vague. All right, it's huge. I mean, there are 9 massive songs on this album. We spent 4 years, writing, perfecting, recording, re-recording, tweaking everything. I mean, it's been a big process. So, now that we're 4 years deep after our first album, we're happy that it's finally out. It's huge. I think it's lived up to our expectations, and I hope it's lived up to everyone else's as well.
Okay, now I really want to talk about the guitar work on this album, being a guitar player. Holy fuck.
Thanks. Thanks, man.
I think I mentioned to you, I think I read it to you a couple of weeks ago, and I said, the guitar playing on this album is scary. It actually frightened me. I was like, oh, that's what you can do with that instrument. Like, you guys really upped the game on this one. Not that it wasn't good before, but holy shit.
The idea for the solos this time around was to really, focus on keeping it so there's an intent and purpose to the solos instead of kind of, random shredding. Because I mean, like the first time around, I had fun with a lot of just, fast scale runs and shit, but I didn't think there was any real structure to the solos. So this time, that was a really big.
They're tasteful. They fit the songs more. We thought about that as soon as the first album was done. Is the next one? Let's push ourselves to the limit, but let's focus more on a taste or a fit for certain songs. Some of them are a little more folky, some of them are very progressive. So we kind of changed each component of that. And we started with guitars. I mean, it was basically the drums are laid down, but all the songs are based off of guitar riffs. And so that's, when you start with that, I mean, it's very easy to kind of work around it. And we consciously knew how to kind of tweak it to make it as best as possible.
So let's talk about the production of the album a little bit. We touched on it
Sure.
a little tiny bit, but let's go into it deep. You guys recorded it yourselves again this time?
Yeah, Tom was at the helm of that. I mean, we were basically, let's see how much we can test Tom's patience by doing, oh, this is the 800th take of this solo. Yeah. No, I know it's 4 in the morning, but fuck you, right?
I think the key is don't set a release date before you record. So that's what helps.
Yeah, I mean, we did all the recording ourselves.
In hindsight, it's not horrible, but it took a while, and we wanted to make sure it sounded good. We didn't want it to sound too clinical, but we wanted a good vibe to it. We wanted it very tight. We wanted it to sound like very good as possible, as best as possible as we can make it ourselves. So that takes time because we can't sit for a week straight and hammer out all our tracks. We can maybe do a couple hours one night.
That job thing, right?
Yeah.
We all have jobs up.
We gotta make some money to do this. So.
The double tracking of the guitars and the double tracking of the vocals this time around. I know that one was, we didn't do that the first time around. I think it made a very notable difference in the way that the vocals came through in the mix this time.
Death metal legends Massacre recently rolled through town on tour with Obituary and Death to All. Unfortunately, a couple of weeks after we interviewed them, the band split up. But we did get a chance to speak to them about the old school Florida death metal scene. Tell us about the new album. Tell about the new album.
Well, it's a little bit of the old school to a little bit of a modern, back, kind of where we're at right now, as far as how music is nowadays. But it's still old school, and it's. I think people will like it. I enjoy it. I listen to it all. So.
the mindset then going into record new music after such a long time? Like,
well, I think we wanted it to sound as best as we could have it sound. Being gone for 24 years from the scene or whatever it was, we wanted to have a good sounding album. We got that with Tim Vasquez. It's his studio, the same place we rehearse at, and that's basically it. I mean, we rehearsed the songs a lot, so we knew them in our mind and have what we wanted to do. We just wanted to get some good tones and have a good production.
I wanted to know what the Florida death metal scene felt like back in those days. Like, I mean, it seemed like such a
Well, it was great. It was an amazing time to watch something sprout and grow and become what it has. I mean, back in '83 and '84, we were going to see Sabotage and Nasty Savage and going to see some local punk bands play.
Yeah.
No Fraud, Belching Penguins, and that's basically what created the Florida death metal scene. I mean, in Tampa especially, we wanted to be like those guys on stage. Then, Show No Mercy comes out, Celtic Frost comes out, then it's just an evolution of wanting to be heavier and faster and darker. And a lot of us were recording our own demos on little boom boxes, and it just sounded raw and rough and heavy, and before you know it, you're getting signed to labels and there's like a big interest. So I mean, it's just an evolution,
Back then, wow, you see them on stage, I want to do that.
Metal was so underground then too, there was no social networks. Everything was either tape trading or from fanzines, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Word of mouth. So it's like a big cult family kind of thing.
Why do you think Florida became that mecca?
I really don't know. I mean, in Tampa we had 3 or 4 excellent record stores that got everything in, even the total underground shit, so we were there every day listening to stuff, so it just, like I said, an evolution of, we had a good kind of an early rock metal scene, and that just flowered into death metal, I mean, that's the Florida Tampa thing, Germany, you had Thrash, Destruction Creator thing, and out in San Francisco, Possessed, Autopsy kind of thing,
I just remember being a kid and just kind of being blown away by the music. It seemed so exciting and new, really, because it was like, I mean, I like Megadeth and Metallica, and then I heard like fucking Obituary, and I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
We used to go buy records just by how the album cover looked.
Yeah.
We had no idea who they were, I mean, you had to take chances. A lot of times it was good, These days it's just so much propaganda and self-promotion, you don't know what's real or not,
I mean, well, do you think a scene like that could ever pop up again nowadays?
I mean, well, as far as death metal, I don't think so. Maybe some other form of heavy music, whatever that can be, I don't know. Like, death metal polka, thrash polka or something, I don't know. I don't know if there's any more special times like that left, you know what I mean? The offering of time, helping you slip by, the strangle of
Hey, welcome everyone. You are watching Extreme Metal TV. I'm JP from Metal Rules, and on today's segment of Wicked Words, we're going to be looking at a fantastic book called Heavy Metal Movies. Heavy Metal Movies was released by Bazillion Points and was written by Mike McPadden. Now, if you guys on the internet are familiar with Mr. Skin, or perhaps even Hustler magazine, Mike McPadden was the editor of Mr. Skin for about a decade. So his love of movies and skin and heavy metal make for a perfect combination for this book. Essentially what Heavy Metal Movies is Mike has rated over 666 of the finest underground cult horror movies on the planet. And the special tie-in is every movie has a heavy metal reference to it. So he runs through hundreds of movies alphabetically. The book is absolutely loaded. It's got reviews of every movie, a rating system, and lots of excellent artwork as well, with some movie posters and things like that. The book also has many special features, including some guest interviews. The foreword is by Alice Cooper, who of course appeared in a number of heavy metal movies himself, including one of the Nightmare on Elm Street and Prince of Darkness. It's a fantastic work, and it's perfect for any fan of underground cult film and cinema, and of course heavy metal.
EMTV's Scott had a chance to catch up with Edmonton Stryker at the CD release party for their new album, City of Gold.
So yeah, I was just checking out City of Gold last week, and the album has more of a thrash feel to it instead of the older stuff, which is more like power metal, speed metal kind of. It's more aggressive.
Yeah.
So like what inspired that change? Is that just kind of how it happened?
We're just older and a little bit more unhappy with the universe now, I guess.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're just getting old man grumpy.
Yeah. You know, it really comes down to like the things that influence you, the music you're listening to at the time, and you know, when Road Warrior came out, you know, what, like 7 or 8 years ago, it was different musical tastes and interests and influences, you know, but now it's just a little more matured, and you can hear that in this album. So.
Production-wise, do you feel like there's anything different you guys took to the studio to, you know, to make City of Gold what it was?
Well, we definitely wanted to get something like super heavy, which is why we chose Fredrik Nordstrom at Studio Fredman in Sweden. Like, we just went through our album collection. We're like, what albums do we want to sound like? And it was just like all the super heavy stuff, and it was all done by Nordstrom. And so it was a logical choice. Just get the super heavy everything, you know.
Turned out fucking amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. So with the style you guys portray with the albums, there's a bigger market over in Europe. How's the reception been over there?
Been really good. Awesome.
Yeah, you guys have been doing a lot of European shows in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The most recent tour, actually, best merch sales probably in the history of the band, and the reception by people is just incredible. Very energetic and supportive. And overall, the scene there is like very, it's beautiful, you know, so.
Yeah, already got our next show booked for back in Europe.
Like, is touring ever, you know, has it become any easier over the years? Do you still kind of look forward to it or dread it?
Well, I think everybody's always really happy to go on tour, but kind of the more experience you get and kind of the bigger tours you get, there's more and more. There's different challenges that appear. So, you know, when you first start out, you're like, oh, this is so hard, and then you move on to the next level of touring, and maybe some of those challenges disappear from the smaller tours, but now there's new and different, exciting challenges to overcome. So it's just different and different, you know.
What can we expect from Stryker in the near future?
More touring.
More touring.
Yeah, we already have a show booked. What is it, in July? In Germany, just outside of
Headbangers?
Headbangers, just outside of Hamburg.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, we have that show lined up. We're trying to line some stuff up right now for the next 12 months, and then hopefully a new album after that.
Well, that's it for another episode of Extreme Metal Television. I'd like to thank both my co-hosts, James and Mark, for another great year of Extreme Metal Television. Mark, James, get out here, you bastards. Ah!
We've had a hell of a year here at EMTV. Thanks once again, guys, for watching. And next year's going to be even better. We're going to have a bunch of new segments and some new faces on the show as well.
We have lots of great interviews coming up, so stay tuned for some excellent programming.
Once again, thanks, guys, for watching. And until next time,
Keep it metal!